righty, so good evening, everyone. My name is Tiffany Stewart Stanley, and I'm the Director of External Affairs for Douglas County. And we are so happy to see so many of you all here tonight at the 2019 How to Do Business in Douglas County, hosted by our Vice Chairman and District 2 Commissioner Kelly Robinson. So we will start tonight's program. Do we have any elected officials here? So we don't have any yet, so we would like to acknowledge our elected officials that are here. All right. And next, we will go into our program with remarks from our Vice Chairman and District 2 Commissioner Kelly Robinson. Commissioner Robinson is in his third term, his 10th year of service to Douglas County. He is the chair of the Finance and Transportation Committee, and he also is the vice chair of the Procurement Committee and the chair of the Housing Committee. He has 20 years of banking experience. He was an executive consultant and an international consultant, and he spent 3 years as a university instructor at Georgia State University. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Vice Chairman and Commissioner Kelly Robinson to come to the stage and give us some remarks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. How are y'all doing today? Good. Hopefully you enjoyed the hors d'oeuvres, and we're going to be sensitive to time. We're a little behind, but we recognize people had to get here, but we also recognized we needed to provide some refreshments, so we're very thankful. Again, my name is Kelly Robinson, and I appreciate you for being here. This is our second, and we're going to call it our annual, Tiffany, our second annual How to Do Business in Douglas County. Last year we did one called How to Do Business with Douglas County. And I'm going to take some time. We've got a couple of guest speakers, but I need to buy a little time here. So I'm going to tell a little story. If you think about those who know me, I came into our office exactly 10 years ago this month. Right? So I was elected in 2008, came in 2009. And the very first thing, now this is after a 20-year run as a senior vice president at Wachovia Bank, over a $4 billion portfolio. I've been around the world, Madrid, Hamburg, Germany, Japan, London as an international consultant. And so I had all this experience, and I'm like, okay, now I'm about to be an elected official. What do I do with that? I share that to say that the very first phone call I made when I came in was I called our executive director of the Chamber of Commerce at that time, Callie Boatwright. And I did that because prior to that, also during my off time, I used to be involved in ministries. I grew up at World Changers, at Creflo Dollar Ministry, and so I spent about 5 years helping them with their small business and how to get a vision. 5 years after that, I participated in an organization called Kings and Priests, a men's only ministry that focuses on entrepreneurship development for men. 5 years after that, over at Word of Faith Church, Bishop Dale Browner, the Browner Business Institute, which is here today, I spent 5 years there developing small businesses. All right, that was part of me actually going on and becoming an instructor at Georgia State University, where I taught decision science, which is statistics to sophomores. I taught entrepreneurship to junior, and I taught the capstone strategy class at the School of Business, J. Mac Robinson School of Business at Georgia State. And I'm giving you all that context of why this event is important to me, right? Why this is so important. Because if anybody has been in life, and this is the key thing, so if anybody has been through life, and I was married for about 16 years, and everybody knows my story, but I have to tell it for context. Like, okay, so what do? You've been married for 16 years, and now you went through a divorce, a life event. Boom. What do? Right? What happens when you were married? You went from 2 incomes to 1 income to no income in 60 days. What do? Right? And so everybody has a gift, a talent, or a hobby that can be monetized. Right? So it's always about you've got to be self-sufficient. There's a degree that every now and then, job, markets, okay. Now think about it. When I came in 2008 being a banker, there's not much going to happen right there during that time period, right? The mortgage industry was melting down. I had to hustle. Right? I had to create my own opportunity. So I put out my shingle. I leveraged my opportunity. I went and raised about $1 million through personal people that I knew and stuff, accredited investors. And now I'll tell you this later and why this is relevant. But Sarah, back to the story why I called the chamber, because I said, okay, back in '08, we're melting down. Think about where Douglas County was there. And people have heard this story, but there's a lot of new people. We were #1 in the state in foreclosures, #1 in the state in distressed sales. We were #2 in the region in what they call unemployment, and we were 4th in the nation for personal bankruptcy. That was a bad place for Douglas County in '09 when I was coming in 10 years ago. Think about that atmosphere and fast forward where we are 10 years later. A little bit different time. There were no jobs. We had high unemployment. We had high foreclosures, right? It was a very bad time. Big businesses, they did a pretty good job. They sustained themselves. If you look at our digest, the commercial and industrial pretty much held. Your property values did what? Dropped 40%. They barely just come back to par now. We're just now growing. Yes, this past Friday and last week at the chamber, we had an individual there, Dr. Joey Smith. He was with the University of West Georgia. And he's our favorite economist that comes out and speaks every year and sets expectations. So I need y'all to hear this. And so he gave these great statistics about how we're doing, everything from new growth and just how we're doing. I'll net it to this, that Douglas County is doing quite well. We're about, quite well is relative. We're doing well in the sense that we've got a little over 2% growth year over year. We're healthy, moving like a turtle. Think about it. We're healthy. If anybody watched a turtle in the backyard, man, you're like, okay, now how did he get all the way down there? It moves, it's moving steady. Right? We're solid. We don't have a lot of largesse on us. We don't have no extra padding, about like me. It's solid, it's firm, it's going to do what it do, but it's going steady. Right? Unemployment, I think the statistic says right now, seasonally adjusted, we're right around 3.8%. Not bad, not bad. We're moving along. Which if you think about it, we've got 140,000 people here in Douglas County. Roughly 143, 231, something like that. Out of that, we probably got roughly around, 35,000 students. All right, so it dropped me down to about 100. As it relates to employable people, which is 25 years or older, that's about 95,000 people. And we've got a pretty decent unemployment rate, right? Right, so that means that roughly around 75,000 people are actively employed, actually live right here, work right here, 75,000. How many small businesses do you think we got? Anybody? Take a guess. 1,000? Anybody else? 300? Anybody else? All right, that's good. Relative range. So think about it. If you got 75,000 people in Douglas County, which is pretty much half the population, is actually working. All right, so that's 75,000, which means there's some balance there. There's roughly, in talking to James Worthington, our Director of Development Services that oversees occupational tax and business licenses, as of this morning, we have roughly what they want to say about 2,300, right around 3,000, what we're going to call renewals. In other words, renewing your business licenses. All right. On top of that, you had about 1,000 new ones every year. So in Douglas County, we've got 4,000 businesses, and that's everything from Switch, Amazon, Google, all the way down to the mom and pop that's baking cookies. Right? There's no differentiator. Right? I'm just giving these statistics. All right. So that being said, so we've got about let's just I can rough it off. People who don't even report. Let's say it's just 5,000 for the sake of the conversation. So 75,000 people who are working and 5,000 businesses. Okay, we've got about 20,000 people that are not on the roll. They're not necessarily over in the penitentiary or in the jail, but nonetheless, there's some room there. Those individuals who are working, yes, we have a livable wage here, but okay, we know wages have been pretty flat. And anybody knows me, I'm going to tell you the truth about the numbers. I say, okay, guys, the numbers have been flat. I appreciate the fact that everybody got a job, but you ain't got much discretionary, right? No? Okay, maybe y'all read a different book. All right, and the reason I say that is that this is important. Why are we here today? Why are we here? 10 years later, it's like, okay, Douglas County is ripe to now move forward, right, and really create opportunity. Having a job is important, but that's just, that'll keep you going for a period of time. But what happens when you have hiccups? if less than 6% of all people have any type of savings, right? You say, just small amount, right? We're living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, you gotta remember, I represent roughly about 35,000 people. I talk to my citizens. I can look people in their eyes. I can hear what they're saying by way of like, okay, it's tight, right? And so they're looking for opportunities. And so one of the things that we saw as Board of Commissioners, which is like, okay, we've been working on this. Yes, we had to stabilize the infrastructure and transportation. Yes, we had to get the big economic development going. Yes, we're working on housing. But at the same point, it was always, what about the little guy? We give great tax incentive to the big guy, but what about the little guy? All right, so I said all that just to give, again, I had about 5 minutes, just to give you some context of, okay, so where do we go from here? So the question that we had today was we're going to answer a couple of questions about small business. What are the opportunities that exist in Douglas County, and what type of help may be here? And I apologize, what type of help is in here? That being said, we're looking for a few good men and women to step up, right? Everything can't be done with what I want to call with the county. Last year, all contracts that go forth out of Douglas County is not with the government. So we're trying to create an atmosphere that you guys need to work together in the private sector as well. There's nothing wrong with working for somebody else. That's not my point. My point is just to make sure you diversify your income in such a way that you're not hurt. Because look at it this way. If the president spends trillions of dollars, and you've heard this story, every year, governors spend billions of dollars, what? Every year. Us at the county and city, we spend, what, millions every year. Those people who need to be in place to get those contracts will do so. Whether it's 60 to 77% of that, they're going to get those contracts. But the question is, who gets it? Who's what they call shovel ready? All right, so put that to the side. That's just government. Now, what about non-government, private sector? There's plenty of opportunity out there. There is some discretionary income, but the question is, what do you do about getting it, and how do you go about getting it? All right, so that being said, that's just sort of my storyline. So what I'm going to do right now is just, again, I want you to think about really just two key things. And hopefully you guys got a sheet of paper here. And what is one of the key things that you guys have ever heard about starting a business? I'm just going to stay there. Key thing. What is a key inhibitor to starting a business? Money.
You need a business plan.
Okay, I hear money, I hear business plans. What else?
A lot of them fail.
They fail. Why do they fail? I heard marketing,
Because they give up.
capital. They faint. Yes. They give up. Anybody else?
Research to make sure that it's a great product for the consumer, what they need.
Okay. Research. The reason I'm doing this, guys, we are filming this. This will be on the archives of Douglas County, but I want to be able to capture these comments. But also, what else do y'all want to get out of today? This is sort of what they call those parking lots. If you ever been in the company and stuff, and there's like, okay, what's your expectation? So it sounds like you want to know, how do I get around these stumbling blocks? How do I get access to money? Perhaps how do I get some help with some plan? I heard marketing. I heard some encouragement because somebody may faint. Give me one more. Anybody else? Perseverance. Okay. All right. So again, those are things that we're going to provide you some insight with. We've got some technical advisors here. We've got a panel that's going to be coming up here pretty soon to talk about that. If you look at that, after that, we're going to have a CEO panel. They're going to come up and talk about their testimonies and what they've gone through. We'll also have time at the very end to allow all of you to weigh in and ask questions. But if you think about, and I'm going to leave this as we segue, and Tiffany, are we ready? Is our second person? Okay, good. All right. That being said, if you think about it, where Douglas County really is, and I'm picking back up the story when I called Callie Boatwright. And it was, at that time, it was like, okay, we got to get the average person going. Because every 30 days, those bills are due. Every 30 days. What do I do? Right? How do I make up for that difference that may be in my household? And we're going to keep this real. What do? I go back to skills, talents, and monetize. At the time, the county just wasn't ready to really focus on the small guy. This is what they told me. This guy from Georgia Power looked at me now, Mr. Robinson, you're a little ahead of us right now. We're comfortable where we're at. I'm like, but don't you see the economy? Don't you get it? Just like, well, just slow down a little bit. And there was a setting of expectations when I came in. It's like, okay, I gotta hold. So I've been holding this for 10 years. Recognizing we could have used this 10 years ago, but the county didn't have the infrastructure. We didn't have the leadership of the current chamber that we're hearing about right now. We didn't have the leadership of the current economic development in place. We didn't have the current leadership of the water sewer authority in place. We didn't have the current administrator. We didn't have a lot of things back then that now it's shifted. It's more nimble, it's more adaptive, it's more enlightened, it's more progressive. And so I'm encouraged by that. So I'm coming out the gate saying this is the time where we're going to really move forward. Really push on either incubating or accelerating those individuals that deserve it, who want to be taxable, who want to employ other people, who want to make a difference. There's nothing wrong with working out of your home, but we're really talking about doing scale. So that being said, I just wanted to set expectations. We've got a great night tonight. I'm going to go ahead and yield the floor. I'm going to come back in a few minutes because I'm actually going to facilitate the actual panels themselves. I left that to myself. I am hosting this, but it's something I feel passionate and dearly about. So that being said, I'm going to yield. Tiffany, come on up and let's keep this going. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Commissioner Robinson, for those remarks. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge our District 3 County Commissioner, Commissioner Terenia Carthen. She's in the audience with us tonight, so let's give her a hand. Thank you so much, Commissioner, for being here. So at this time, I will introduce our next speaker, Attorney and State Representative William Bodie. He is the State Representative for Georgia House District 62, which encompasses Douglas and Fulton County. He is the managing partner of the Bodie and Law Associates. And like Commissioner Kelly Robinson, he is also very passionate about economic development and small business. He recently hosted the District 62 Small Business Development Summit, which he partnered with Douglas County and Fulton County. So he also wants to get small businesses going in our area. So please let's give State Representative William Bodie a hand.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Like my dear friend stated earlier, is that small business development is very important. It's very critical to what we're doing here in Douglas County, but on the state level. The state of Georgia is very proud of the, I would say, honor of being the best state to do business in the whole state of this whole country for 6 years in a row. So Georgia is the best state to do business for 6 years in a row. And the reason why is that we have a very strong foundation of small businesses. The last time I looked, 2018, the last numbers came out, we had 1 million small businesses just in the state of Georgia, 1 million. And with that million, they actually employ 1.6 million Georgia citizens. So that is a big, big number. So I would say small businesses are the driving engine of what we do in the state of Georgia. So how do we get to the point of starting a small business? And I appreciate Commissioner Kelly Robinson for putting this on and facilitating this, because I would say he's been just a bedrock on this issue. Since I've been out here, when I say out here, as a state representative since 2016 when I was elected. But before I was even elected in 2011, I started my own business here in Douglas County. I'm actually, my day job, I'm a lawyer. And I still have my practice here in Douglas County. And one of the first people that I reached out to was Commissioner Kelly Robinson. And I kind of was like, what did I need to do to get going and get started, even before politics? And the one thing I can say about Douglas County and being a small business owner is that not only the local elected officials, you can reach out to them for encouragement and for a path to move forward, but for also small business, you have the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber was very, very, very good in helping me to springboard my business. And how do they do that? Well, we had a big ribbon cutting ceremony. They did press for me. And that all came with my membership. But being a small business owner is going to take a lot of work. One of the reasons why I wanted to partner with the SBA, the Small Business Association Administration, I'm sorry, is because they have access to capital. What Commissioner Robinson was stating earlier, a lot of individuals don't have access to capital to start their own business. And so that has been a roadblock for a lot of individuals. It's definitely been a roadblock for minorities. It's been a roadblock for women. It's been a roadblock for anybody that wants to start a business. So the SBA is a resource. Also, you have other resources like ACE, the ACE Loan Company, which if you're trying to start a business and you need about $50,000 in capital, you could actually go through them to actually get that done and facilitate that. And they're a nonprofit organization. So basically what I'm saying is, if you want to start a small business, it's there. The resources is there, the structure is there, but it's going to be some ebbs and flows. So with that being said, you have to have a game plan going into it, i.e. a roadmap. What is your roadmap? You have to have a business plan, because you won't know how to get from point A to point B to point C all the way to Z unless you have a professional business plan. If you don't have a professional business plan, you might as well not even start a business and try to go into it, because you won't know what your goals are and how to achieve those goals. Because one thing with businesses, most small businesses don't last 5 years. Most small businesses fail within the first year. And the reason why they fail, because people fail to plan. So if you plan accordingly, you can move forward and get past that 1 year mark. So when you have a small business, you normally don't get the name recognition until year number 3. And once you start to get the name recognition, now in some businesses like my business, you start to have repeat customers and people coming back, and your name starts to make business for you. But I would say if you could get through year number 5, then you're on the way to moving forward and having a successful business that can be sustained over time. But I kind of want to end with saying that starting a business is a journey, and it's not a destination per se. You're going to always have ups and downs. You're always going to have things that you want to do. You're always going to want to increase, and you're going to always want to keep building your brand and your company. But I would say just stay with your roadmap, your business plan, continue to believe in yourself, and also reach out to other sources outside of the box to get capital, to market, to network, to build your brand, to build your business. Because as Commissioner Robinson was stated earlier, I encourage as many people as possible to be your own boss. Because at the end of the day, being your own boss is you. It's your brand. It's what you build. And so if you can't be your own boss, that's fine too. But if you can and you have that will and that desire, I would definitely say move forward, try to be the best you can at it, and work hard at your business and your brand. Are there any questions? Anybody has any questions? Well, thank you all. And I appreciate Commissioner Robinson, which is one of my, I would say, greatest or hardest working constituents of District 62. So I appreciate you, Commissioner Robinson, all your hard work and your partnership along with the entire BOC in getting things done here in Douglas County and at the state capitol. And Madam Commissioner, good to see you as well, and congratulations again. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, State Representative William Bodie. Next on our program, we had scheduled Ashley Bell, the Regional Administrator for the U.S. Small Business Administration, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, he was not able to be here with us tonight, and we do plan on rescheduling him to come and speak as soon as possible. So next, we will move on to a presentation by our Communications Director for the Douglas County SPLOST, Mr. David Good. He'll come up and give us some information on opportunities with the Douglas County SPLOST.
Thank you, Director Stuart Stanley, and thank you also to Commissioner Robinson for allowing me this opportunity to speak. As everyone knows, I represent the SPLOS, but more than that, I represent as being a citizen of Douglas County, as being a business owner in Douglas County. There's a lot of opportunities that come through SPLOS, and there's a lot of opportunities that come through Douglas County. The problem is that a lot of times, if you guys have seen some of my presentations when it comes to vendors report, is that only 37% of the dollars that are coming through are actually going to people within Douglas County and within the 30 miles of Douglas County. And we track it because we do have business owners that are in Villa Rica, but they're just on the other side over there into the next county, or dealing with, I believe, Atlanta and then also South Fulton and other areas. So the main thing that we're trying to do is make sure that everyone has the opportunity to go for these different positions, for these different projects. We have the large companies that come out. We'll have Carter Watkins or some of these companies that come in from outside of our area, but we want you, the small business owner that's right here in Douglas County, to have the same opportunity. So if you get a chance, make sure you definitely visit our website, which is 2016splos.com, and you will see everything that we are actually doing. And if you go to the county's website, which is Celebrate Douglas, you'll be able to go into programming and find the same information. And one other thing that we really want to push is that it doesn't matter what type of contract that's going out, if it's something that's even for construction, but if the only thing that you can do is actually pour concrete, do curb and gutter, you can always end up becoming a sub of that company that gets the prime. So all because you're not able to do everything that the contract calls for, you might be able to do a part on it. Even if it's on a technical services piece, we end up having a redesign coming up for our website. So therefore, if you have technical services, that's what you can definitely look into. And I believe our new commissioner, Trina Carthen, that's something that she is a strong advocate for, is for us to have a very strong website, and that therefore it'd be easy for everyone to see. So if there's anything that you guys feel that you do as a small business, guess what? A part of the SPLOS can do that. We are building 2 verticals right now that should come on by summertime. It's going to be the Senior Center over there in District 1 in Lithia Springs, and then also the Multipurpose Center, which is going on over there in District 2 at Boundary Waters. There's also some concession stands going on. All those different things that's coming up are all going to be within this year. By the time summer goes on, all of our largest projects will be going on, which would be, number one, the Motorola radio system, which is actually the largest project that we have. Right now, it's probably around $15 million that is allocated for that. Then also we have a 25,000 square foot multi-purpose center. So make sure you guys are on the front end of getting that done. And if you can't get on the front end on that, guess what? That building is being built, therefore there are services going to be in there. There are things like computers that would be in there. There's going to be workout equipment. So therefore you might end up being able to provide those things. If you end up working with a car dealership, we actually have vehicles that we buy every single year for our different departments, which is going to be fire, parks, and transportation. You'll have that opportunity if you work with those companies. So please make sure that you go to our website, see what's out there, and if you're not a vendor, there's no way you're going to get information from us except for whenever I run into you. But if you're not a vendor with Douglas County, please make sure that you get a chance to listen to Director Bill Peacock and learn how to become a vendor. And if you want to pick up some more information, if you have not done so, we have our table right outside where you'll get Mr. Peacock's information as well as information on the SPLOS. So thank you very much. Are there any questions? Awesome. Thank you very much. Oh, yes, sir, Ms. Humphries.
I'm wondering, has design started on the senior center, concession stand, and multi-purpose center? Have you selected?
Right. Yeah, the designers. We're in the design phase for all 3, but none of them are under construction except for the concession over at Boundary Waters.
So the contract for design is already there.
Yes.
A selection has been made.
Correct, for the design, but not for the build, just for the design. Are there any questions? Thank you very much.
so much, David, for all of that great information. So next we will start with our first panel, our technical panel. So at this time we will call Sarah Ray, President and CEO of the Douglas County Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Alfred Watkins with the Bronner Business Institute, Mr. Todd Anduzzi with the UGA Small Business Development Center, Tina Greer with Greer Business Solutions, and Mr. Robert Watkins with Conquer Worldwide, all to the stage for the panel that will be moderated by our Vice Chairman and Commissioner, Kelly Robinson.
While we're giving them a chance to get all settled and stuff. Again, welcome back. We are filming this show, so we thank you all for your attendance and your participation in your local government. And this is sort of a form of give back. So we're going to get down to the details now. So those who are taking notes, this is when the rubber meets the road. This is when we begin to give you some very practical information for those who are in the studio audience or those who are watching us live. So if you think about it, and I had to reflect on some of the comments that was made. One of the fundamental, if you think about what are the 10 top problems that a company experiences, one of the things that I know there's always a problem when people are trying to start a business is called the math doesn't work. The math doesn't work, right? And so I say the math doesn't work because there's two things. The purpose of a business is what? No. The purpose of a business is to do what? Succeed. Sort of, kind of, to solve what? Problem. The goal of a business is to what? Make money. Purpose is what? Solve a what?
Solve a problem.
Solve a problem. Goal is to do what? Make money. Make sure you distinguish the difference. And so here we are, we've got our technical advisors up here, and this is going to be fun. And they recognize that we're going to try to distinguish that there's two kinds of entrepreneurs. If you think about any type of vision that's a seed that's been planted, it's an egg or whatever the case may be, you have those that want to grow up to be, they're like eaglets, just starting, don't know the fundamentals, trying to find their way. And then you have those that's called these eagles that can just take off and soar. Incubator, in a nest, think Jurassic Park, turning the egg over, right? We're incubating that, we're nesting that, we're nurturing that. And then you have an accelerator, which is like, okay, you out there running, you're gone. Two different groups. It's okay, whoever you are in the audience, my panelists are very good at being able to distinguish the two. They know how to craft their answers for those who may be just starting and those who are more seasoned in the audience, because you can have what we call both aspiring and emerging entrepreneurs. Okay, that being said, I'm going to start to my right. Each of my panelists will have 3 minutes to say who they are. You're going to do an introduction of who you are professionally, like your career, take about a minute, another 2 minutes to talk about your actual company that you're offering today. I'll start to my immediate right.
Hey guys, I know most of you guys here, so the ones that don't know me, my name is Todd Anduzzi. I work with the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center. Now, I am located at the University of West Georgia, but essentially we are fully funded business consultants provided by the state, provided by the SBA, to help businesses be successful. When I say fully funded, we actually don't charge for our services. Let me repeat that so you guys don't. We don't charge for our services. This is a service provided by the education system of Georgia along with the SBA to help businesses be successful. And successful depends on actually your goals. So we'll sit down, we'll talk about it. We're consulting you on anything from marketing, accounting, hiring, team building. A lot of my expertise is in the past. I've been prior military, I've worked in warehouses, I've worked in the mining industry, and I've also worked in a CPA firm. So it's a vast majority. I'm one of 17 offices in the state of Georgia. We actually encompass pretty much small business up to 50 million in annual revenue and 500 employees. So I'm just somebody that you need to be on, I need to be on your team, along with most of the people on this panel. We are here for your success. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Al Watkins. I serve as the Executive Director of the Bronner Business Institute, a ministry dedicated to training current and aspiring business owners to excel in business. It's not enough just to be in business. If you're going to be in business, you might as well be good at it. And so we have training courses, workshops, and networking events designed to help you scale your businesses. My background, I'm an educator, an author, a tech guy, a dad. Not necessarily in that order, also a husband, don't leave that out. But my passion has been to see others excel in the science and the art of business. And so I've developed a team around me at Word of Faith Family Worship Cathedral, where we host our courses and workshops that year in and year out meet men and women where they are and help take them to the next level. That's the name of our 15-week course called Next Level. So if you don't have a business plan, and even if you do, it's a great course, and I have a little video over there, some graduates that'll tell you what it was like for them. We've also held business plan competitions where some of our graduates and veterans of our programs competed for a grand prize of $25,000. Can anyone use 25 grand? If you can't, could you loan? But that's just an example of the kind of excellent training and development that's going on in the Bronner Business Institute. I hope you'll connect with us, come out to our free networking events. We even feed you. I said we feed you.
All right.
I'm going to pass the mic. Good
Thank
to
you.
see you all.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Ray, and I'm the president and CEO of the Douglas County Chamber. I am a Douglas County native. Well, I guess I wasn't born here, but elementary, middle, high school. Went to school here, and then went away to college and made my way back here to Douglas County. I have been at the Chamber for almost 9 years and took over as CEO almost a year ago. So it's been a big transition, but I'm excited to see a bunch of our Chamber members here in the audience tonight. So if you don't know what a chamber is or what we do, our mission is to support, promote, and attract businesses for the advancement of the community. And we do that in a bunch of different ways. So a lot of our focus is, and we're about 650 members of the chamber, and that's majority of those are small businesses, about 70%, and that's less than 10 full-time employees, but we do have large companies that are members as well. So a lot of our programming does exist for small businesses, and we have a variety of things that we do, from networking events, similar to what Al mentioned. We do networking events, we do special signature events, we do workshops, seminars, trainings. We do programs for all companies that are in all different levels of their businesses. So from startups to people who are looking to kind of create an action plan or a strategic plan to, continue your business in the future, or if you just need some refresher skills on basic classes, soft skills, all of those kind of programs. So we have a lot more that we offer. So if you have any questions after we get done, I'm happy to chat with you. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tina Greer of Greer Business Solutions Coaching and Consulting Services, where we work with entrepreneurs and small business owners, teaching them how to find, bid, and win government contracts. I have actually been in the government contracting industry for over 20 plus years. Because my husband was in the military, we've always lived near, of course, on base or in that environment. So that has afforded me an opportunity to be able to work with large multi-million-dollar companies, government contractors. I've held positions at those corporations in business development, contracts management, and also the last 12 and a half years as a pricing analyst, lead pricing and generating revenues for contractors with generating revenues of over millions of dollars for large corporations. As a result of the turn of events, or the economy, as we like to call it, I've had an opportunity to become an entrepreneur, a full-time entrepreneur, and therefore I've now taken all the education and experience that I've learned throughout the years, and also working with these companies, and turn it into a business. So what I do now is take that information and teach others. teach small business owners in particular, those who don't understand the federal procurement process or bidding on government contracts. I teach them through a step-by-step process, and we do virtual training. So that's one thing that is unique about me. My main training is online curriculum, as well as I offer some live events. But I'm able to service small business owners nationwide. So it's all about impact, and as a result of them understanding the procurement process, they're able to bid successfully on government contracts. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Commissioner Robinson, and congratulations to Madam new Commissioner. My name is Robert Watkins, Chairman of the Concord Worldwide. We're based here in Douglasville. I own property here in Douglasville for about 25 years. Our office is over on Chapel Hill Road. And we do two things, and we do two things very well. We help businesses from failing, and we help grow businesses. We launched just last year about 130 brand new real estate investors by investing about $6.5 million last year. Last year alone, we started bed and breakfasts and restaurants and many others. We have two of our team members back there, but we do everything from providing access to capital, which we do internally, up to $150,000. It has to be for a business purpose. You can use it any way that you want. And the funds are, there's no down payment, there's no collateral attached to it. We've taken away every barrier to entry to this money here. And so that's been a very successful program for those who want to be involved in business, especially as it relates to real estate. On the commercial property side, we love commercial properties. We love our clients to own office buildings, shopping plazas, so we can provide proof of funds, we can provide consulting as well. We also do business plans. We actually write the plans for you. We research it. Sandra back there was practiced for about 10 years or so, understands research. We want you to focus in on your business. And so we have something that's called our estate plan. And essentially we do an assessment, we provide the funding, we write the business plan, we do a personal financial plan for you, because most people have not handled $100,000 or $200,000 all at one time. So it can blow up your life if you're not careful. So we want to make sure you have a personal financial plan, and then we provide the marketing strategy for that as well, because marketing makes you money. And then we support you with education. Like you, we have online courses, and we make sure you come into office. But most importantly, we provide the team. And so we believe teamwork does make the dream work. And so you come into our office, and we have someone in sales and marketing and customer service and finance, and we put these people around you, and we solve problems. And that is how we're contributing to the economy here in Douglas County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then we'll field some questions from the audience here real soon. Again, I would be remiss, State Rep William Bodie, thank you so much for being here. Commissioner Carthen, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you both, but I got comments for you later at the end, so don't go anywhere. All right, that being said, okay, so we heard the context. To my technical advisors, you guys know typically if I had to frame this for the audience, there's typically 4 phases to entrepreneurship, right? There's the vision phase. It's that problem, it's that pain, it's the vision. What am I going after? The next phase is a plan. Okay, write the plan down, write the vision down, make it plain so people can run with it, right? It frames your actions. Everything from operations to legal to marketing to customer service, everything that was just stated. But then after that, you've got to have action, the third phase, which is you're actually out there. You're actually a living company. You have payroll. You have all those things that go with being live. And then at the end, what do I do when I'm actually making good money? Am I philanthropical? Whatever the case may be. We're going to walk you guys through these sets of questions really fast, but let's start with vision for the group. Okay, so to the audience and for the audience, what type of project, what type of company should I start? How do y'all go about answering that question? Anybody? Anybody?
I send them to Todd.
Okay. Okay.
I can talk.
Answer that question. Because we got to.
Todd is a wonderful resource, so if you're thinking of vetting a business decision of what kind of company to go through, they have great feasibility studies, programs. He can probably talk a lot more about that. We also started a program last fall. We had our first cohort. It's a program called Co-Starters. It's a nationally recognized program, and we partner with Mercer University to bring that program to Douglas. And basically, it's a 9-week cohort at Mercer University with a Mercer University professional or professor, and they take you through the process of vetting a business decision. So you could be operating a business currently, or if you just have an idea or a thought, they'll help you go through a guided curriculum on vetting that business decision. The great news is if you decide at the end of the class that owning a coffee shop isn't, what you want to do and it's not feasible, the good thing is you can go right back to the beginning and go through it with another, with another business opportunity. So we will be doing that program again in the fall. It will start in August, but it's a great way to kind of go through that process of kind of figuring out what kind of business would work. So as far as what businesses we're looking at in the community that doesn't really answer it, but we have a great tool in our pocket to be able to do that. So, and anybody can do that. You do not have to be a chamber member. So, do you want to? Anybody else?
All right. All right, let me put some context to this because, okay, we're talking about Douglas County. All right, and so sometimes people always ask me as county commissioner, well, what's available? What should I go after? What are the pain points that are in Douglas County? If I think about the state and some of the work that's been done regarding centers of innovation, and State Rep Bodie, please correct me, or any of my guests, which is the state figured their budget is about $28 billion. And they figured that there was probably 7 areas in which they wanted to focus to nurture throughout the state. So it was aerospace, logistics, transportation, give me a couple other, anybody? Energy, etc. So these were majors in the state. In other words, we're going to harness our research, our private equity, our digest. We're going to focus in these 7 areas, and they're spread out through the state. And they're tied, obviously, to universities. So my question is, at a local level, and I'm okay, what do y'all guys think, what do y'all see here that we can go pursue to help benefit our local economy? I get what the state is focused on, but we ain't got aerospace here. So how do I go about assessing, the opportunities that are here? Anybody?
Well, I think this is an excellent start to the process. You're identifying for folks, maybe for the first time, what the county cares about going forward, right? So the idea is doing your research. We focus in our courses on teaching you how to research the opportunities and then weigh your business idea or the viability of your business idea against where are the opportunities, both locally, regionally, nationally. And that helps scope some of the things that you'll do coming out the gate. Like, who do I need to get to know? Sometimes it's not about what you know, but who you know. And then it's even more important to know who knows you. And so we provide those networking events where you can come meet with folks that we bring in front of you, like a Kelly Robinson, and say, hey, what are the opportunities going on in Douglas County? Douglas is one important county, but Georgia has a bunch of them, and we can strategize how to position our businesses to take advantage of these opportunities.
Thank you. I mean, if you think about Douglas County, again, they're right, we're one of the 9 core metro counties. 9 metro, right? We're one of the main. But if you think about it, we're a moderate-sized county. We're healthy, but we're competitive. The spirit in Douglas, no, we're going to compete. We want the Googles. We want the switches. I'm mad at Chris Pumphrey. I said, okay, now how did we not get Facebook? He said, well, we don't have 400 contiguous acres out there in District 2. And I sort of laughed, and it's like, but we want to compete. The spirit is like, guys, we've got to be able to compete. So that being said, from tell me what causes us to fail. I mean, you talk to me about a plan. What are things that you guys have seen that the audience needs to be aware of regarding the planning process? Yes, I need to go through the 15-week, 10-week, 8-week, 4-week type of class, but what are, focus on a problem. Anybody? Yeah.
Well, I would say that small business is very personal. And if you can get a person to launch an entity that's closely aligned with their purpose in life, then when things get tough, they're not subject to quit. We just started, I mentioned a bed and breakfast, and a 74-year-old lady came into our office. Her name was Roberta, and she had a vision to start a bed and breakfast. And two of her husbands had passed, and two of her oldest sons said, "Mom, go sit down someplace, you're too old." And her grandsons and granddaughters were saying, "You know, Grandma, you're too old, just go retire." But she had this burning passion to start a bed and breakfast. She's always wanted to do it since she was a little girl. But she said nobody supported her. Long story short, we got her $127,000. She found the facility. We asked her to go around in Douglasville to look for it. She didn't find one here in the city, but she found one in Fairburn, and it was $500,000. She used the money as a down payment to buy the facility. And so now her same sons who told her to go away, and now work for her full time. But it was something that was in line with her purpose in life, which was to serve people. She just liked to make people happy. That was her purpose. And so when we talk about small business and here in the county, and how can we take that same type of entrepreneurial spirit, it has to start with really, what were you born to do? And we try to answer that question with you during our assessment. Because that's what we want to get behind. That's what we want to support. That's what we want to finance. That's what our team back there, we want to come around you, around that one purpose that really you were born to do. You know, I never met my birth mother and my birth father before, but once I understood my purpose in life, that's what I built my business around. And what came out of that is books. We've got operations now in Zimbabwe and South Africa, and virtually every city in the United States. We're speaking, we have operations in and launching literally hundreds of new entrepreneurs, but it's around this one premise, is what were you born to do? What is your purpose in life? And when you experience that, then money and finances and opportunity begin to attract you.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. All right. So let me keep moving this along and stuff. So we talked a little bit about planning, and I'm going to make a little segue before I get into the action phase. Is for example, we talked about opportunities, and we heard David Good speak a little bit earlier about our SPLOST. And one of the strategic things that the county is working on with our new commissioner from the 3rd District, Trini Carthen, is we're working on our website enhancement. How many people have a problem with our website? This is a commercial. Yes? Okay. And I bring that up and says, okay, it's public knowledge. We've got a budget for about, $125,000. Who's going to get that contract? Who's going to bid on that? Who can bring value to the county and say, okay, I understand knowledge management. I know how to shape it. Now, we're not looking for some pretty colors and stuff. I mean, you're going to have to make this work. But it's things like that. You've got to listen. You guys hear me say it all the time. Pay attention. Listen. And even if not you may know someone that you need to connect them to. So think about that. So action-wise, let's shift this up a little bit, panelists. What do you guys think about, so what about those companies that are already in the game? They're already doing about $500,000 or $1 million or so in the audience. Okay, how do they get, if you think about leadership and egos fly by themselves, how do they get support and mentorship and being a CEO? How do y'all weigh in on that? Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, we actually, a lot of the expertise in our industry actually support the bigger businesses. Can you guys hear me?
Speak a bit. Yeah.
Sorry. We support the bigger businesses. I actually have expertise helping the bigger businesses. Now, anybody can actually start a business. If you start it right, that's one thing. Anybody can actually start it. I actually talked to a guy today. He was a sole proprietor, been in business for 14 years, did everything wrong. Was he making money? Yes. Was he doing things wrong? Yes. Should he get caught? I don't know. I had to show him different ways that he could be legal. He could stop using contractors and start hiring employees, start making impact, start taking advantage of what the community has to offer. Now, a couple of those questions that were asked, it's easy to start a business, but it's very hard to start a business right. And a lot of the people up here, we can help you do that. And that's what we're trying to get at. We're trying to get at, look at the people around you, look at the people that want you to succeed, that want to be on your team. That's what you need to do. When we're talking to Dr. Joey Smith, we're working with the university system is working with West Georgia Technology to identify the things in the communities that we need to start and help people bringing them through those types of programs and put them in front of people that they can actually start businesses that the communities need. So that's working with the chamber, that's working with entrepreneurs, that's working with your education system. It's just making sure that you're talking to everybody that can help you and not just keeping these blinders on. The people that think they're doing $500,000 or $1 million, they could be doing very well, but they could also be doing a lot of mistakes. I had a guy the other day that was doing well over $1 million. I walked in and OSHA could walk into his place and shut him down at any given time. Now, is that success? Is that being successful? No. He was making the money that he thought he needed, but he was putting his family, his life, his community at risk because he wasn't doing it the right way. So just be aware of that, take the blinders off. Nobody knows everything. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything I say is gold. It's not. You know, I've made some mistakes in my life. I've got a couple businesses under my belt. I've got some failures. I've got some successes. But that's what we're trying to tell you, is that identify those successes, those failures, and other people that can help you not do that.
Very good.
I
Tina,
like
Tina, I'm going to add one for you. This is specific to you. And I'm going to, you can answer here, follow on that, but also I'm going to give you one, which is as you shift, as he says, we're out there, we're making mistakes. What is it from either a legal or a risk assessment? Like how do you deal with risk assessment? In other words, something will happen. Something will break down. How do you mitigate that? So double on that, but also answer that question too, please. Thank you.
Sure, I just want to add to in regards to big business, even though you are probably out there making lots of money on projects and so forth, I found out that because of you're not following or understanding or having a strong foundation as far as fundamental principles of your business, you can actually have a lot of money leaks. There are several companies out here who are doing quote unquote well, but they can actually be doing even better. And a lot of times those small things that companies miss out on that they don't include, for example, in their proposal, in their pricing, or even think about when it's time to execute a project, it therefore eats into profitability because they did not thoroughly think through that process. So I've worked with companies in a consulting basis where a quote unquote, they may be doing very well, but they are sometimes missing a key integral part in regards to the money part. And therefore money is being leaked out, and they didn't consider something that they could have had they sat down and worked through their plan and their process of executing and even proposing a bid. So we all can learn, whether we're a large company or small, and what I focus on is the small companies because I want to make sure they understand the basic fundamentals of business, of pricing, of setting up their infrastructure to where they have an accountability and an audit trail. So when they grow, it's easier to start off right as a small business owner than try to just figure it out or bumps and bruises. Start off right, so as you grow and you scale your business, you have the process and procedures in place.
Very good. Thank you. All right, I'm going to keep it moving on time. Tiffany, you got the microphone? Okay. All right. We're going to take some questions from the audience, get about 3 or 4 of them in here. We're going to keep it rapid. Anybody can respond from a panelist perspective, but just raise your hand and Madam Tiffany will come to you.
All right, we do have one question, and I will let
Hi, name's Amy McCoy. I'm a business currently here in Douglas County. In terms of people you've worked with in the past, what have you seen as more success from a product-based or service-based? And then in terms of a product-based, their longevity process. What would withstand the test of time for here in Douglas County?
Anybody?
I can speak to that a little bit. I wouldn't say product over service, but what I would say as advice is what I've seen that's unsuccessful is when people paint themselves into such a niche that they don't have anywhere to expand out from that. So we've seen that time and time again. So I would say start broad and then kind of focus in on what your skill sets are and where what your wheelhouse is, versus kind of finding that niche first and then building out from there. It seems to be a lot easier to hone in on something than to kind of build out.
Very good.
You know, can I add on that?
Please, go ahead.
You said a word, success. What makes it successful? I think you need to define what success means to you first. A lot of entrepreneurs come in and they say, I want to make $1 million. But they really don't. They want to go home every night to their children. So what does success mean to you? If you don't define it for yourself, you're going to be searching for somebody else's definition your entire life, and you'll never hit there. So I would say first define what success is. Then I absolutely agree. You want to throw a broad net out and see what things are doing well, and then start working to your niche. Let's take Chick-fil-A, for instance. Do they care if McDonald's moves in next to them? Absolutely not. Because they're going to do what they do well. And so they can bring in competition. It doesn't matter how many people are built around them. They're going to do their thing. So that's pretty much what a small business does. Do your thing.
Yeah, I would say two things to that. Number one, have a 20-year plan. And I know 20 years, most entrepreneurs are like, I'm not sure if I'm going to pay bills next month. But you really have to have a 20-year plan. My experience in investment banking and planning is those companies that get the big money because they have a 20-year plan. So you really have to have enough vision and enough foresight to say, where's my product and service going to be positioned in the marketplace, and how much market share can I have 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And if you can answer those questions and really come up with some assumptions, then that's going to be impressive to those who want to invest in your business. And then secondly, I don't really think it matters if you have a product or service. What we try to do is make sure you have at least 7 streams of income attached to that product or service, right? So because that will help protect you against any downturns that may be in the market. So, if something weird happens on Wall Street or when our politicians, listen, you've got 7, 8 streams of income to protect if 2 or 3 go down, centered around your core asset. And so when planning, those are 2 things we do: a 20-year plan, and then make sure you have those 7 streams of income. And trust me, that'll make you sleep better at night.
Thank you. Very good. Another question?
My question is, what's the source for doing research on the opportunities in Douglasville? Where do I go? Is there a website? Is there a department in Douglas County to say what are the demographics? What are the household incomes? What are the needs? What are the pain points? What are the opportunities? Where do we go?
Well, I'm going to help frame that a little bit. In a minute, as soon as I yield this, we're going to bring our, I believe our Director of Purchasing is going to come up and talk about opportunities within Douglas County itself. As it relates to demographic information, our Chamber of Commerce has some information, our Economic Development Authority has some information, but one of the things that we recognize is that our website does not have a central place to put all this. Back to my point. So right now, it's all over the place. You got to know Breezy, you got to know Sarah, you got to know Kelly, you got to know Chris Pumper, you got to know all these people to find, you got to know Bill to find information. So 2 things. One, we recognize that information is available. Contact me. I can get it to you if you're really wanting that or you're just framing it. But 2, we recognize our website needs to be enhanced because you need to have a central repository. Duly noted. Madam Terenia, you got that? Okay. All right.
A lot of them.
Okay.
Well, I was just going to say,
Yeah,
a lot
please.
of the universities have that information, the demographic information. We use Reference USA. We use, I know Dr. Watkins probably has a different, couple different programs, but it depends on what you need. So you're talking about target markets. You can definitely narrow down, and the more you narrow down, the better you can get the information. But most university systems or technical colleges have that information for you.
And last thing around that, we as commissioners belong to what's called the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, ACCG. And they provide a very neat, what's called a guidebook. It's a guide. And it provides all types of data regarding in comparison to all the other 158 counties. Each page is a comparison, whether it's unemployment, whether it's economic, whether it's demographic, whether it's race, whether it's income, whether it's school education. So it's incredible to look at this when you compare it against other counties. So it's not just looking at yourself, but you also have to have context, which is my point. Again, there's a lot of good sources of information from market survey data, Demographic USA websites. But at the end of the day, you want to have Douglas County specific, so you don't want to have any general information. But let's keep going. Tiffany?
We have one more question.
Yes, I saw.
Oh, good evening. My
Yes.
name is Sandra Fuller. I'm curious to hear what you think about a small business owner who wants to get into the market or do business with Douglas County. What are some of the things that they should consider when trying to bid with the county?
Okay. Again, on that one, I think Director Peacock, you got that? He will fill that in a minute. We're going to bring that up, so we'll make sure we address that one. Anybody else?
I have one more.
Yes, please.
I'll use myself as a plant. I'm a business owner, licensed therapist in the state of Georgia, and I've lived in the county. My daughter is 16. I get business from all over the state of Georgia, and I ask myself, why am I having to go through companies as a provider? Why can't I be the affiliate, the person to get the contracts from local and companies in the state of Georgia? I'm probably, I don't know if there's any other therapists in the room. There's very few licensed therapists that do what I do. I am a telehealth counselor. I have a practice out in Stone Mountain. I would love to have my practice right here that see employees from EAP companies. So I don't know if that's something Douglas County employers are looking to do, but that's something I would love to share with Douglas County if a bid opportunity ever comes about. I know there's a lot of information that I just shared, but that's a business that a lot of people don't think about, and I'm working with Douglas County.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, I won't take it off task. A couple years ago, I hosted a mental health forum, which so we talked about telemedicine, telehealth, and we had a room full of about 70 people, and we educated. And so again, back to there are opportunities, and sometimes, guys, you can create opportunity, right? So sometimes I hear people ask, and they're always like, well, what is it? What is it? Well, create it. Discern it, perceive it. Come to me with a grant proposal. Come to me with an opportunity versus asking. Sometimes you may have better visibility than I do, and I'm sure you can see better than me. But you get the point. Please, you bring this up. I think you bring up a good point as a plant. Thank you for planting that seed. Anybody want to address her, because we got to shift gears.
I can.
Yeah, please.
Briefly. Sorry.
Yep, you got it.
Let me lean
Sarah,
this
go ahead.
way.
I got you.
Sorry, thanks. I would just say, as far as kind of building a presence here in Douglas County, starting to network and just kind of put yourself out there. I always joke and say that joining the chamber, and I'm not pushing that. I would love to have anybody here, but it's not like a gym membership. You can't just sign up and expect, the money to fall into your lap or, like amazing business to happen. You have to try, and you have to invest time, energy, talent, build that network and those resources. So I would just encourage you to kind of start, and it doesn't have to be anything big, grand, expensive, but just start putting your name out there wherever your child goes to school. Start telling their friends and family, yeah.
Everybody knows me pretty much in Douglas County. I just never put that platform out.
Yeah.
What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Valisa Dixon.
Okay.
Companies haven't come to me to say, Valisa, I need to go to the companies and say, hey, let me do
Yeah.
your employees versus me going outside of the county.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just think I think that networking is the best way to do that, and just continuing to build those relationships. So if it starts within your child's school, then expand it out and, talk to them about businesses. I know we have 3 leads generation groups within the chamber, and they solely exist to help expand and build businesses for those people in that group. So I would just say start planting the seed a little bit.
Anybody else want to finish that? We got one more question, and we're going to give you guys 1 minute close each. So.
I just have a statement. So this lady over here asked about data. So since we don't have a centralized website here in the county, I always just go to ARC, Atlanta Regional Commission, and it breaks down data per metro, by income, population, education, you name it. So it's a little
little further deeper, some data that can be helpful if you start your business.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, if that's it, then we're going to go ahead and shift gears. Dr. Watkins on the far right, we'll start with you with your close. Take about a minute or so, and just whatever point of information you want to share with the audience, go all in. No bars held. Please.
Well, it's an honor. I've seen Douglas County grow since I bought my first home here and first investment property here 25 years ago. And I was here before the mall, and I've seen a lot of business growth here, and I've seen a lot of people growth here, and I've seen a lot of financial growth here, and I'm pleased to be a part of it. And like I say, our company is here. And the two questions I just want to leave you with is how do you start, and how do you mitigate against risk? And starting right. You start with the right team. You start with the right amount of money. You start with the right plan, and you start with the right focus and the right purpose. And when you get all those things aligned right, then everything else seems to happen really good for you. Good things can happen. But then how you mitigate risk to make sure you don't lose it all, to make sure you don't lose your sleep, your money, and your physical health trying to run a business. Because you don't want to be like me, bald-headed, because you've been stressed out chasing money all day. So you do that because you have the right people around you. So I would say that, we're here to help you get started. We're here to make sure you have the right legal team, the right tax team, the right consultants. We're right here in the county. Although about 95% of our business comes from outside of the county, we love to do more business here because we know that you have vision, and the major thing that you want before you get started to understand is what is my purpose. If you build your life and business around that, you're going to be extremely successful. Then we can help you build a 20-year plan around that and make sure you have those 7 streams of income to make sure that when things get tough, you can still sleep good at night. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Next.
I would like to leave with everyone, being part that I do teach about federal government contracts, I do really believe in multiple streams of income, especially in today's economy. But I want to ask everyone to understand, the question I get is that, will the government buy from me? I have a set of skills that I hold. I enjoy what I do, but I don't know if the government would buy from me. And there are ways to determine what your skills are, how we can parlay that over to the government codes and actually search for opportunities. Now, there's opportunities out there in the federal level, state and local level. It's all about positioning yourself and positioning your company in order to be able to find, bid, and win government contracts. And what I want to leave with you is that I don't want anybody to get stuck. I found that a lot of business owners may be in the system and are registered as vendors on a local level or even as a federal level government contractors, even have certifications that they're not even using. The problem is that they don't know where to begin. They don't know the steps. They don't know how to set up their proposals or quotes, or even how to bid properly. And as a result, they're leaving so much money on the table. There's so much opportunity for small business owners, and SBA, the mandate, has set it to where they can level the playing field. 23% of the federal government contract awards should be awarded to small business. That's the goal, is 23%. We haven't even touched on talking about women-owned small business, 8A certified, HubZone, veteran-owned small businesses. All of these criteria in which I know a lot of individuals in this room represent as I look out in the audience, but we have to be in position. And again, multiple streams of income, so if one dries up, you go to the next and on, but you have to be in position and have your paperwork, have your documentation, and have the education and training you need in order to be successful in this industry.
Thank you.
I don't know how to top that. That was awesome. I would just encourage you to, the Chamber is a membership organization, And that's how, we are a nonprofit. However, we have plenty of programs and services that are available. We partner with Todd very regularly. That's not something that you have to be a member to do. But I encourage you to come and check out some of our events. We have one next Thursday. Come and see what we have to do, because we have a lot of programs and resources that can help anybody on any level of business. And again, my door is always open. I'm happy to talk with you. We pride ourselves on being a connector in the community, and any kind of problem or situation or person that you need to talk to, we can help you do that. So I hope to see you all soon. And our membership director is here. She's actually out in the lobby watching my 5-year-old for a minute. So she'll be around too if you have any further detailed questions. So thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Well, I've enjoyed this experience, and I want to get to know you. I talked about it's important not only what you know, but who you know and who knows you. I want to get to know you. So if you would, my team member over there, Brother Blanchard, is looking to receive your contact information. You can just drop your card in our little bowl or take the time to fill out a little form. But that will establish our connection. And so I can get invitations to you for upcoming events, our Kingdom Connections networking events. Are there any nonprofits in the room? All right. Nonprofits, if you're not being successful in raising the kind of funds that would allow you to grow that nonprofit, I really encourage you to take our ABCs of Grant Writing class coming up on the first Saturday in April. It's been tremendous for those who have attended. We've got a lot of wonderful feedback, and so if you sign up, make sure you get invitations for that. Also, I want to mention I have a couple of graduates in the room, and so I'm very proud to see them. Sarah President over there with her nurse practitioners practice over there, and hopefully you guys can connect and maybe network about what we can do to expand health services here in Douglas County. That'd be beautiful. But that's the kind of thing we want to see, is Kingdom Connections coming together and helping each other grow. I hope you'll commit in 2019 to have a growth mindset. Sometimes it takes transformation of the way we think in order to get there, but we can, as people, get to the promised land. I don't know where that came from.
Right.
It just came off a cake day.
Very good.
Pleasure hearing from all of you, and wish you all great success in 2019.
Thank you so much for that. Last but not least.
So what I would say is definitely take the blinders off. Takes a lot of work, hard work. We mentioned business plan at the very beginning. That is important, to lay out the feasibility of your plan. You want to surround yourself with a team that wants you to succeed. Guaranteed these people on the panel want you to succeed. You are very lucky to be in a county like Douglas County, because their chamber is one of the better ones that I work with. I work with surrounding counties. I actually do the entire state as far as OSHA inspections. But that's what I would say. Get the help, surround yourself with a team that wants you to succeed, and just be aware that nobody knows everything. Ask around, talk to people. Give us a call. My name is Todd Anduzzi. I'm with the Small Business Development Center. Please give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give them a hand clap and thank them so much for their participation. Guys, I appreciate it, and I just want to leave y'all with this. I think Christina, she brought up a good point that while we did have a keynote speaker dealing with the SBA, and there was a lot of topics we could have covered. We went broad versus deep. We didn't go into a deep immersion. Each one of these topics and comments could have had a workshop individually on them. One of the things that we didn't really talk about but alluded to is about teaming. Just because you can't bid on something doesn't mean that you can't partner with somebody. That's how you grow and get to scale. So please, all of you out there, I'm sure they have more cars than you guys. Y'all make sure y'all exchange and meet each other. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Tiffany?
All right, thank you so much to our great panel that we just had. Before we bring up our next speaker, I'd like to acknowledge another great supporter of small businesses in Douglas County. Our esteemed chairman, Dr. Ramona Jackson-Jones, is here with us, so I just wanted to acknowledge her. All right, and so next we will be hearing from one of my esteemed colleagues, the Director of Purchasing, Mr. Bill Peacock. He is a wealth of information, and he's here to give you guys some information on procurement opportunities. So let's give him a hand.
Good evening. I'm Bill Peacock. I'm the Director of Purchasing for Douglas County, and I hope I live up to the intro that my esteemed colleague gave me. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight, Vice Chair Robinson. Madam Chair, good evening. How are you? Commissioner Cothran, how are you? Good to see you. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can do business with Douglas County. The theme tonight is how to do business in Douglas County, but we're in Douglas County, so I just want to share with you some of the things that are possible for you, opportunities that you may find to do business with Douglas County. The Board of Commissioners desires to allow all county businesses the opportunity to provide the county their services and products. We will always provide a fair and honest opportunity to every business, especially those that are located in Douglas County. Our county ordinance actually provides a 3% deference, if you will, from businesses that are outside the county versus those that are within the county. If we receive bids from multiple vendors, some inside the county and some outside, and if we're looking for the lowest price, your price could be 3% above the vendors outside the county, and we would still be able to do business with you. Depending on the size of your business, you could be the main subcontractor. You could be the main contractor, or at least a sub working for a larger business. And several folks have touched on that tonight. That if your business isn't set up yet to actually be the prime or the main on a job, you should be looking at using your talents as a subcontractor, perhaps with a larger firm. The first step to do business with Douglas County is to complete and submit your vendor application. I do not know you're out there if you do not complete and submit a vendor application. Currently, we have about 7,000 vendors within our database. So we would love to make that number even higher and continue to give us opportunity to do business again with multiple folks from within Douglas County. There are copies of the vendor application out on the table out front, or you can also go to our county website, www.celebratedouglascounty.com, and go to the purchasing department, and you'll be able to pull that vendor application down electronically if you need to. The panel just before me made some very, very strong, powerful comments, and many of those centered around the fact that you have to take a proactive approach to know about the opportunities within the county. I cannot reach out to everybody in this room and share with you the opportunities that are there. I can provide you a way to find out, but I cannot individually touch you and tell you what the opportunities are. If we have a project that's large, we always advertise in the local Sentinel. Whenever we have a bid or a proposal or are asking for qualifications, it's a requirement in state law that we run that information, that advertisement, in the local paper. So read the paper and stay up with what opportunities you can find there. Visit the county's website. As David said earlier, we have the SPLOS projects that are listed there, but that's also where we list all of the upcoming or current bids that are out. So you can find all that information on the county website. Another thing I would suggest you do, and Madam Chair, I hope you don't get mad at me for this, but come attend the bi-monthly commission meetings. We have work sessions on alternate Mondays, and then we have the actual legislative session on the Tuesday after that. If you want to find out about what's happening in Douglas County and what the opportunities are, we discuss many of those at those meetings, chaired by our Madam Chair. I would suggest that when you're considering a name for your business, identify what the service or product is that you want to provide. That makes it easier for me to understand what business you're in, whether you're a plumber or a court reporter or a salesman that sells cleaning products or anything else. Try to make it easy for me to know the type of business that you're in. If your business is small, again, as I said earlier, you can look on our website to see which larger companies actually received a contract. And then you take the proactive steps to reach out to those larger businesses and offer them your services as a subcontractor. And the last thing I'll talk about again is the SPLOST. As David said, we have several projects. The Senior Center is about a $5 or $6 million project. The Rec Center out at Boundary Waters is about a $7.5 million project. We're building concession stands in most of the parks. We're putting up new fences in many of the parks. So there are opportunities for small business to interact and do business with Douglas County. And we're anxious for you to do that. One of the charges that Madam Chair has given to all of us, as well as Vice Chairman Robinson, is that we've got to involve our local businesses more. So that's what we're hoping to do, and that's why we're here tonight. That ends my comments. I'll be very willing to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Peacock. And now we will go to our last group for the night, our entrepreneurial panel. And these are the people who are living it day to day. And we are so excited to have such a great group of entrepreneurs here. So at this time, we will call Mr. Mark DeNice of DeNice Companies, Ms. Sarah, President of Medicus Medical Clinic, Jamila Baylor Stroud of Anything But Ordinary Events and More, Nicola Robinson of SR Law Group, and Ms. Rita Facina Thomas of Strategic Business Services. And this panel will also be moderated by our Vice Chairman, Kelly Robinson.
Okay, we're in the home stretch here, and so while they're getting settled there, Madam Chair, greetings. Again, this one, now we're shifting into the entrepreneurs. These are people who are already in the game, right? These are sort of our case studies. So they're going to share some real world experiences, testimonies, sort of like, okay, what they experienced, and they'll also field some questions. One of the things that we talked about it earlier about starting a business, doing the business. One of the key things that what I didn't really hear, but I wanted to stress, and especially doing business with Douglas County or any government, is you have to be evaluated. You must evaluate yourself because every now and then, a contract has to be renewed. You're not guaranteed business, right? So one of the things that we didn't get into was business intelligence, dashboards, things like that. All of our technical advisors can sort of help with that. But that being said, I'm going to throw this question eventually to our entrepreneurs once they get started. So I'm going to start on this end. Just take maybe a couple minutes, like before, 3 minutes exactly. Introduce yourself as well as your company, please.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thanks for being here, or everybody coming out tonight. My name is Mark DeNice. I run DeNice Companies. My parents started this company in their basement over 30 years ago, and I have the unique opportunity to carry the torch forward. We do architectural signage as well as metals, printed graphics, banners, all the above. What was in the basement is now over off of Industrial Access. We have over 150 employees. We do about $30 million in business a year. And we're right here in your hometown, Douglas County. Born and raised, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening. My name is Rita Fauchonnet Thomas, and I own Strategic Business Services. And what we do is we work with small and medium-sized businesses to help them with their operational needs. We also, besides consulting, we also write policy and procedure manuals. We write employee manuals. I teach seminars and workshops and speak publicly from time to time. And we just get in those businesses just to see where they may be falling short. I'm surprised at how many businesses actually start up without a written vision. You know, if you don't have a written vision, then where are you going? You know, so those are the types of things that we do. So I'm very honored to be here and to be on this panel.
Thank you, madam. Next.
Thank you. My name is Nicola Robinson, and I'm the co-owner of the SR Law Group, and we empower seniors to create their legacy on their own terms. And what I mean by that is we do wills, estate planning, we do long-term care planning, and Medicaid planning for those seniors that might be needing to go into a nursing home facility. So we do speaking engagements and we do consultations at our office to help families as well as their aging senior figure out what they need in terms of making sure that their legacy is protected for the next generation. And I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamelia Baylor Stroud. I am the owner of Anything But Ordinary Events and More here in downtown Douglasville, former 6650 West Broad Street. I have been in business going on 3 years now. I'm excited to say. My background is professional vocalist. I'm an actress, I'm a writer, mom, wife, business owner, educator, and activist, and not in that order as well. But I have been doing event planning for 25 years, where I've hosted baby showers, wedding receptions, funerals, you name it. And I'm happy to be here as well. But our event venue is one for you, where we bring your anything but ordinary event to life.
Good evening. My name is Sarah President, and I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for the warm invitation to this event. I am the owner of Medicus Medical Clinic, the JNSP Training Institute, and the Grace Oasis Personal Care Home. My greatest passion is providing healthcare to people, whether they are at the hospital level or personal. And for Medicus Medical Clinic, we provide primary care to our community. We manage the diabetics, hypertensive, and all diagnoses and refer out to specialty when it's necessary. For the JNSP Training Institute, because of the passion that we have for healthcare, we have enabled our people in the community to actually come in to enhance their skill to be able to take care of other people in the community outside of themselves. And for the Grace Oasis Personal Care Home, we have been contracted with the state of Georgia for the past 14 to 15 years, caring for the developmentally disabled population and then medically fragile individuals to provide them exceptional care. Thank you.
Thank you all. All right, let's jump right into this thing. So here's a question for you. We're always talking about what goes well, but let's start with our panel. What went wrong? So when you started a company, and you're now, it could be when you first started or today, what is one pain that you're experiencing today, and how are you solving it, or did you solve it? And I want each of you to respond to this. So Mark, we'll start with you and just go right down the list. What pain did you experience early on, or experiencing if you choose to share, and how did you solve it or solving it, please?
Yeah, one of our largest challenges early on was not doing enough research, not knowing how to price our product well. So what was happening was we were going by what we felt the market rate was and not what actually it cost us to do business. So it wasn't until my mom and dad were in business together, and it wasn't until my mom took over the pricing and did a lot of research and really actively went through the pricing exercises of what we needed to sell our product for to make a profit, did we actually start to make a profit. So it's always good when you actually make a profit at the end of the day. So we were enjoying what we were doing, having a lot of fun doing it, but at the same time, they were going broke slowly, and the CPA was literally saying, I don't know how you guys are affording to pay the bills.
Right.
So it was great, and that was a learning lesson for us and a learning curve at the same time. So
Very good.
Yep.
Next, right down the list. Challenge or pain, and how do you solve it?
The first challenge that I came across was not doing enough research when it comes to my legal entity. Started out as a sole preneur, and during tax time, I learned a few things, and so I had to do some research and had to get some help to finally make the decision to become an LLC instead of a sole entrepreneur.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that. Next.
I think the biggest thing for us was marketing. We have, my business partner and I, we have law degrees and we know a lot of things, but we know nothing about marketing.
Right.
And we realized that very quickly. So we had to actually say, okay, step back, call professionals and ask them, how do we reach out to our demographics? Because we work primarily with seniors, it's a little different. You can't just get on Facebook and Instagram and some of the social media networks as well, because seniors like paper, they like to see things. You have to build a relationship, they have to trust you. So we had to bring in people to really help us understand that.
Thank you. Next. Yep.
Well, for me, I would have to say that in off months, if you don't know what that means in the event world, a lot of times people are not booking year-round for things. So you have to figure out or be creative, okay, well, what can we do to keep the business going? What can we do to plan our own event or have something that keeps the bills and things paid? So you have to be creative in the off season in event planning.
Very good.
I believe our greatest challenge was, even though this has not been my first business experience, my greatest challenge was actually finding the people and letting them know that we were out there. So again, it is marketing and to network with other people to let them know that this service is in the community for them.
Okay. Very good. All right. So here's a question for you. This is a leadership question. So all of you are, whether you're partners or not, you're the leader, whether you call the CEO, president, managing director, it really doesn't matter. But the point is, you're making a decision. How much time do you spend on doing versus visioning? And there's a difference, especially if you have staff. If you're sole proprietor, I understand. But for those who have scale, talk to me. Anybody?
Yeah,
How much time? How do you spend your time? This gets into about time, right? How much time should I be out there, or versus actually planning? Being that CEO in a whiteboard, figuring this thing out, where to go next.
Well, it's about building a team. I mean, some people have great strengths, and I think we can all say we all have strengths and weaknesses. And as a leader, a lot of us lead with our head in the clouds, and we have to, if that's how we lead, then we have to find people that help us and join together and put those feet on the ground to help us execute our vision. And you have to make sure that you're not constantly changing. You got to be dependable. So, some people are just great at being great visionaries and taking that charge and doing it well and try not to always change for people so that you can really see the goals through. So it just depends on what the system you've got set up. What may work for one group may not necessarily work for another. So you have to do what works for you guys.
Very good. Anybody else?
If you come in my office right now, on my wall, it says businesses grow at the speed of your decisions. And that's because a lot of people do get stuck in the visionary phase. They're like, oh, and they vacillate, they go back and forth, they do the research, and they never move. So you have to really find the balance between the vision and then putting boots on the ground and getting it done. And once you make a decision, don't be scared of the decision. Stick with the decision and see it through and learn when it's time to shift, whenever that is. But you have to at least make the decision and make a move. The decisions will not get you anywhere. You have to do the work.
Very good. Anybody else? Okay. All right. We'll keep moving this. So here's another question. We're going to, again, you guys are in the audience. Make sure you formulate to ask them direct questions. So, if you think about it, one of the things when I teach entrepreneurship, it's like a 16-week course. Covers everything, but 2 subjects are covered over 2 weeks. One is marketing, and one is finance. And we just talked about that. How important, from a finance perspective, how important is it to you to either do the numbers yourself or to get help? Did you learn any lessons regarding the money? We talked about it from a technical assistance, but what can you share about managing money? Anybody?
On the onset, I felt that it was very important for me not just to have an attorney, but to also have an accountant. Somebody who can help me with those things that I fall short in. Very, very important. Your accounting, you have to be able to keep a tally of all of your revenue, all of the monies that come in. And another thing that I learned is just to make sure that you sign every single check.
Very good.
Very, very important.
Anybody else? Well, let me enhance this just a little bit. Think about it this way. I read somewhere the average small business it does about $257,000 a year. All right. The average amount of money that it takes to start up a business is $25,000. All right, it's important. The average business in America does $257,000, but it basically provides over half of the number of jobs in the nation. Pretty much, we're built on what? Small businesses. All right. That's important. The average startup amount is $25,000. So here's my question to you all. Did any of you use, if you don't mind sharing, a loan, investment, private equity? What did you use to source your business? And I want to hear all of y'all go down the list because I'm sure you had different experiences.
Yeah.
Credit cards, you name it, whatever. Start at the far end. Let me come back this way.
Start down there?
Yes, Sarah. Sarah President, go ahead.
Well, actually, I did not take a loan, surprisingly. When we started our business, working as a contractor with the state of Georgia, I was able to set money aside enough to be able to help me to start the 2 businesses that I have currently. I actually made sure that I monitor my funds and was not a wild spender because I know that, you know, in business, there are days when you may be doing very well and there are times when you're not. Because it's a business that I cannot handle on my own and I had to depend on employees to help me to grow that business, I wanted to make sure I always had a safety net to make sure that in the event that we were not financially at the time that the monies were not rolling in, we would be able to have sufficient funds in the business account to be able to pay. But we had enough for me to be able to start 2 other businesses, so I did not take a loan, contrary to what most people may think would be the primary thing to do. We were able to depend on private funds, our own private funds, to be able to fund our businesses.
Thank you for sharing. Next.
I would say the same thing as Sarah did. We depended on private funds that we were able to begin our business as well, so we did not have to take out a loan to start up our business. But I will say, in all honesty, I do agree with you need someone in place to help you manage and have accountability for your business. And that is something that we're learning now along the way, or I'm really interested in finding out more of.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. Next.
We use savings to start the law firm. My aunt's an entrepreneur, my dad was an entrepreneur, my sister is currently an entrepreneur, so it was no real surprise when I said, I'm going into private practice and start my own law firm. So the family really kind of pitched in on that. And I think to Rita's point, we have a bookkeeper and we have an accountant. I know what I don't know, and I know that there are professionals that know a lot more than I do about those things. So most of the big purchases that we have to make for the firm, we have to run it by the accountant. And she's like, yes, no, no. So, you know, that helps us to make sure that the money goes where it needs to go and that we have enough in the reserves for those times when there are down times, because there's down times in the law too.
Very good. Next. Mm-hmm.
I also started with savings, personal savings that I had. I didn't take out any loans. What helped me was when I worked for corporate, the last 10 years that I worked for corporate, I worked from home. So I already had a home office that was already set up. And since I provide services as opposed to products, it was just very easy for me to transition. And when it came time for me to move out of my home office into an office in Douglasville, I was pretty well established.
Very good. Thank you. Mark, you want to share?
So we did probably all the wrong things. Mom and Dad started this business with $500 on Sears credit card in the basement of a house here that they could barely afford, and they were working jobs during the day and making the signs at night in the basement. It was really just something that they enjoyed doing. They had passion for it, and they never envisioned that it would grow into the business that it became. to your point, Nicola, you don't know what you don't know. And for years, my dad had a degree in finance, and that was probably one of the most dangerous things that he thought he knew the finance world, and he was going to tell that CPA how he wanted the books every year. So when I finally took over the company, one of the first things I did was hire some consultants, and literally, it millions of dollars of difference, and it actually benefited them. So it was probably one of the best decisions I made on their behalf, was to bring in these financial consultants and learn from the best in the industry. And it was really hamstringing himself, I think, if he knew a lot more than, was out there.
Thank you for sharing. I always say never try to be the smartest person in the room because it's not sustainable, but doggone to be the dumbest either. So anyway, to the audience, Tiffany? All right, let's go ahead and set up some questions because we really want to hear from you. And your peers up here on the panel, we're glad to share. So, questions?
Hello. It's the same question. What did you do for research to determine your client base in Douglas County?
I think Maisha mentioned it, but we got on ACE and we looked and tried to see what the demographic information was for the county and reached out to some of the resources that we knew to help us and point us in the direction of, okay, what are the number of seniors in the county? How many are, of still working age? How many are going towards retirement and things of that nature?
I guess my question is, also, what if you're a business, how do you do the research to find other businesses for your services? It's not like seniors or individuals, but more so other businesses that, like I'm in IT. So how do I find other businesses that I can potentially provide IT services to? I guess the chamber and farm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she brings up a good point. I mean, again, we go without emphasis. We talk about planning and getting technical assistance. But some of the things I heard from our technical assistant advisors, networking is key. Yeah. It's who you know. And it's not just sort of a cliche. It's about relationships. Everything rises and falls in business with a relationship. I don't care what it is. It gives you insight. It gives you access. We as commissioners, elected people, I mean, you got to get out your shell. You got to get out there. You got to compete. So I think this is a good forum to have this conversation. We're going to keep this going. I know it's a little chilly in here. I apologize. But is there any other questions? And I'm going to give the panel their closing moments. Yes.
Is there a time that you've ever said you want to quit being in business and go back to work as an employee?
Oh, y'all take that.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, be honest. Be transparent, please.
I can honestly say no. I worked in big firm. I started my profession up north, worked in big firm, large national firm, hated it, like absolutely hated it. And knew that I wanted at some point to be in business for my own. And don't get me wrong, it is not easy being an entrepreneur, but the freedom, the flexibility, the passion that I have for the work that I do, I couldn't imagine trading it.
I believe for me, when I first started, it was an exciting journey for me, but as I expanded, I wanted to quit every day. Because having to deal with so many employees and personalities, it makes it quite a challenge. It's not being, I mean, you have to have the unique ability to be able to own your own business because you work longer hours than the regular person would. And it takes a lot of will. But one of the things that's sustainable is just to know that you're operating in your gift. Because when you're gifted to do something, you will be so passionate about it that you're not going to get bored about it. So you would have staying power to be able to do it.
And I want to add to that because it's not a question of do I want to quit. It's always questioning myself or questioning the business and is this what I want to do. But at the end of the day, I've been very fortunate and blessed to have people to come through the venue who have impacted my life through our business. And then you say, wow, this is why I'm doing this. We had a lady who had just turned 100 years old and her kids gave her a birthday party. And at first they were going to cancel. We're not going to be able to do it. I'm like, I certainly understand. And they went through with it anyway. Well, a week later she passed. And they gave us a phone call, were very courteous enough to say, we are so fortunate that she had her last hurrah at your event venue. And I cried. It was very emotional, but I mean, those are the types of things that you get out of what you're doing and why.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, you know, it's not always rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah.
You know, when the recession hit, that was one of the toughest times for our family business. And you go around and have to lay off workers that were there for a long time. It was very difficult, and a time where, you know, you just question whether you really, your head was in the game. But ultimately, you know, when you're doing right by, in the eyes of all the employees and making a decision together rather than just rolling out, you know, whatever, then, you know, it makes it a lot easier when the employees totally understand and you do what's in the best interest of them, and you make sure you sacrifice as an owner for their well-being, and you can put your head on the pillow at night and say, I did the absolute best I could, but it's still tough, you know.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this. I know it's been a long day. We've got to let all of our citizens, including us, get on home. So, Mark, since you were starting, we're going to start on your end, your close, and we're just going to go from left to right all the way down. Take about a couple of minutes, and whatever you'd like to share with your fellow citizens regarding entrepreneurship and your experience.
Yeah, so I'm very lucky that I'm second generation being able to carry this forward. I know that this is not a high statistic to be successful, so I have that onus to carry, but I have a great team, and we have a great community behind us, and we're doing great things here. I would just encourage you to follow your passion and persevere. If at first you don't succeed, try again. You know, it's not about a quick win. It's been a long term for me. Starting a company when I was 13 years old, sweeping floors. I'm 36 years old. So I'm still working to try to get Dad to give me a little bit of business, you know, ownership. So it takes a long time to grow something this big, and it will not happen overnight. That's a far thing that something
Hear,
like
hear.
this can happen overnight.
Thank you. Next.
And I'd have to piggyback on that. Surely it's not going to take overnight, and there are going to be fears, there are going to be trepidations, you're going to question, you know, am I doing the right thing? If you have that passion and you have the education behind you, you have the know-how, you have to step out and just go ahead and take the bull by the horns, as the saying may go, and just go move forward. There were times when I questioned myself. There are still times when I question myself. However, I know that the service that I give is a service that is valued by many, many businesses. So just take that fear and just turn it into energy and just move forward.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Next.
I think Dr. Alfred mentioned it just briefly, but one of the things that you have to really work on if you decide that the entrepreneur journey is for you is your mindset. That is a huge part of this. And I really spent a lot of time on mindset, self-development, coaching to get me to understand all the things and all the tools and the talents that I had that I could bring into my business. You would be amazed how many things from your childhood that you're just like, oh, I just like talking to people. I don't know if I could make that a business. Oprah did. So, you know, you have to really look at what it is that you have and your gifts and your strengths, and don't take them for granted, because you might be like, oh, I just bake for a few friends. Okay, but you could be doing a huge catering company for millions of people. So don't take anything for granted. Don't discredit it. You are here for a reason. You have gifts and talents that the world is just waiting on.
I would like to say that I think Robert said it best earlier. Align things that are personal to you in your life, and that is what I did. Also, just like to make people happy. Our event venue, we give ordinary people with a vision to provide an affordable service. So keep moving forward in your dreams. Hold fast, as I always say, I live by my motto, keep the faith, believe in yourselves, and dare to be different.
am very proud to be a part of the community of Douglas County. And because I have been educationally and clinically prepared, we have the unique ability as the lead nurse practitioner at the Medicus Medical Clinic to be able to provide primary care to most people. We do have affordable health care for most. I'm encouraging our community to come out, get to know who we are. We actually spend the time. We do it not just because we want to, we do it because we want people to be informed about their health care and the decisions that they make with their health care. So we're asking everyone to come in. Let's push for preventative care. Let's not wait until you are involuntarily going to be in the position to be where you do not want to be. So come in, get to know more about your health care and decisions, and that we would be able to, it was going to be a life-changing experience for most.
All right, let's give them a hand clap and appreciation. And thank you all for being here. Again, what I'm going to do right now before we release the audience, Madam Chair, please come join me, please. And Madam McCarthy, you can come as well if you want to stand. But Madam Chair, and the reason I bring her up is that, again, I just want her to confirm our commitment to small business and the platform that we're trying to create an atmosphere for you, right? We're always talking about what is our elected officials doing for us. We're creating audiences like this. We're creating moments like this. So now the question is, what will you do? So with that being said, I'm not going to go long. Madam Chair, come on up, whatever you want to say.
Thank you so much, Vice Chairman Robinson. Good evening, everyone, and I know we are, time is of the essence, and I just wanted to just say that small businesses are the heartbeat of the community and also of this nation. You all carry the torch and you make things happen, and I'm so proud of what you're doing here in Douglas County. You've made a difference. Every day I wake up knowing that small businesses in Douglas County is the one that keep the doors open and keep this county moving forward. So we can't do it without you. We're here to support you. Whatever you need, please contact me and the Board of Commissioners, and we will make sure that we make this happen. And I'm so glad that we were able to host this event, and we look forward to hosting many more. And I thank Vice Chairman Robinson for going above and beyond to make this happen for our citizens here in Douglas County. And you'll hear more from us, so thank you so much. Commissioner Kaufman is next. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I know I am between you and your car, so I won't be long. As a small business owner here in Douglas County, I've been doing business here for about 15 years. So it was before I ever became your county commissioner. I just know that it is so important that you use your time and your gifts within your county, because when you all open up small businesses in the county, you start legacies. We want to grow businesses here in Douglas County. We want to grow that base, because that economic development base spawns educational development base. So we want you here. We need you here. Small businesses are the heartbeat, just like Madam Chair said, of the county. And as a small business owner, I implore you, don't take any talents that you have for granted. I'm in the healthcare IT business. Nobody could have ever told me I would have been in politics, but service is what I'm really about. So servicing and being a consultant and just helping people to find what they need is how I got to where I am. So I just implore you, take the opportunity, go out to our website, Celebrate Douglas County. It's going to be better, I promise. But what is up there now is will help you. Go out to Bill Peacock and find out how you can become a vendor. Access all of the panel members that you saw up here. Nicola, Rita, all of them, they're here to help you. We're here to help you. So again, take opportunities that are before you and tell others. Thank you so much for coming out. And thank you to our external affairs, Tiffany, and all of the staff. Thank you so much for putting this on. Can we give them a hand clap? With that being said, thank you for coming out, and 1 second.
Thank you again so much to our commissioners. It's such a great thing that we have commissioners and Vice Chairman Robinson leading the charge with our small businesses. And there are a lot of counties that don't do these programs, so we need to give them another round of applause for doing this. also like to thank our Communications Director, Mr. Rick Martin, and his team, our DCTV 23 Manager, TJ Jaklinski, our Communications Specialist, Lena Hardy, and our External Affairs Coordinator, Tabria Cobb, for all their hard work with this program, and Shannon Belletti of Belletti Photography as our photographer. Once again, thanks to all of our panelists and our speakers. I hope everyone gets home safe and has a great night. Thank you so much.